Hi there, it's Tamara Dorris, and I'm super excited to be here with you today because I'm going to share something with you that at one time it wasn't okay to share this inside the space of the real estate industry. And I'll tell you a little bit about my experience with that inside this presentation. But suffice it to say that now is the time. Now is the time that more and more agents are embracing the idea that, hey, maybe our thoughts and emotions do make a difference in our business. And hey, maybe there is some truth to this law of attraction idea. And oh boy, is there, but it's all science. And you know, if you want to look at it from a spiritual perspective, that is totally cool with me. I happen to be a science nerd. At the end of the day, though, you don't have to know anything about photons and electrons to understand that your thoughts and your emotions make things happen. And if you don't like some of the things that are happening in your life right now, that's where we have to look. It's not about saying, oh, I need to send more postcards or I need to get out there and knock on more doors. It's not about that. It's not about that. That can come from inspiration from your higher self when we do the practices that I'm going to talk about in this exact presentation. But you cannot change matter with matter. You've got to change mind over matter. And that's when things really get exciting. And that's when, you know, you can make anything you want in your life. I mean, nothing crazy. If you're 90, you're not going to, climb Mount Everest tomorrow. But guaranteed, you can improve your health. You can improve your business. You can, find the love of your life. You can lose weight. There's so many things you can do if you put mind over matter. And that's why my book, Mind Over Market, really hits a chord with a lot of agents and brokers. And I'm very grateful for that. But anyway, I want to do this presentation because I want to share with you these 3 things that I guarantee you can change your business for the better and other parts of your life as well. Full disclosure, at the end of the presentation, which isn't going to be very long, I'm going to tell you about a new 8-week immersion beta, meaning I'm launching it for the first time, and I'm thrilled about it. And I only have a limited number of space, and I'm doing an introductory price that is ridiculous, that my own coach said, you can't do it that cheap. Now, we'll talk about that later. But at the end of the day, just watch this presentation all the way through all 3 steps, and then watch it again and again and again. You don't have to watch about my coaching at the end if you don't want to. That's totally fine. But I'm telling you that if you will, with an open mind, turning off Facebook, not paying attention to your phone just for this next half hour and really listen, take notes, watch this and absorb it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then let it go. No big deal. But if it does and you do it, it's going to make a difference, a monumental difference in your life. Okay? Are you ready to get started? Okay, let's. Okay, are you ready? 3 keys to manifesting. And I didn't just leave it for the real estate industry in the title because, there may be some agents and brokers who want to manifest an improvement in their health or their relationships or anything else. And anyone is welcome to watch this. It's for real estate agents. But guess what? Real estate agents are human. And so anyone who's human can benefit from these. This is not a real estate specific trait to be able to put your mind over matter. Anyone that's human that has a working brain can do this. And so we're just going to focus it towards real estate. And now I'm super excited. I just said this in the presentation introduction that I'm super excited about this. And I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to tell you what I know to be real and true. And I'm going to omit most of the science that proves it because, as I said before, if you want an abundant business, you don't have to know how a photon and an electron play out in the subatomic field of quantum consciousness, right? This is like, what? I don't need this stuff. Just tell me how to sell more houses. And so that's kind of how we're going to look at it. Just understand, though, with that said, if you haven't read any of my books, they're so often free on Kindle. I mean, really, I think they're $0 if you have Kindle Unlimited. You could read them for free. So Mind Over Market and the Referability Factor and Imagine That are 3 that I highly recommend for real estate professionals. Anyway, that said, if you want to read more of the science, read Mind Over Market. But just understand, even though I'm not going to talk science here, that this is all evidence-based research. that I've spent years and years, not just applying in my own life, but also with my clients and many agents and non-agents, from when I had my hypnotherapy practice. So this stuff works. It's just we don't slow down long enough to really hear and absorb the way that it works, to really fully comprehend it, and then to apply it. That's the secret sauce, guys, is to apply it, okay? But before we go on, before I get to the 3 keys, I first want to share with you a bit about myself, my background, to help you better understand why I do what I do, as well as how well it works. Because what motivates people to do things, I think, in my opinion, is really, really important. I care about why people do what they do. So way back when my life was not working all that well, and quite frankly, I was at the bottom of the barrel. I was living on welfare and food stamps. I was trying to raise 2 little girls, and I was failing miserably. Anyway, I knew I had to change or even risk losing my kids. So I started reading anything I could get my hands on regarding the power of the mind. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't even afford books. I didn't have money to go, to a bookstore. We didn't have online books back then. So I would go to churches and libraries and I would read there. And so I'm fast forwarding quite a bit because it didn't happen overnight, but eventually I was able to turn my life around. And in the process, had become so passionate about what I'd learned and applied that I decided I would bring it into the industry where I originally started, which is real estate. Okay? So keep in mind, as I go through this fast forward, I went from being kicked out of high school to being a college professor. So clearly enough time had passed in between there that I was able to go back to college and then go to graduate school and get teaching jobs and start a hypnotherapy practice, et cetera, et cetera. And then after writing about 3 or 4 books, I decided to write a law of attraction book for agents. And I knew that all I'd learned and applied would work for real estate. And I'd been licensed earlier. My mother was an agent. I was teaching real estate at the college I still teach at almost 18 years later. And I knew that these techniques would work. So I remember writing the book. I self-published it. I called a big broker down in LA. And I was so excited because I thought, you know what, I'm gonna bombard the real estate industry with this book, and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is so great, and everyone's gonna buy my book, and I'm gonna be speaking all over the country, and it's gonna be awesome. But that call to that broker changed everything. I still remember crying and being in shock after he hung up on me. He more or less called me a heathen for promoting esoteric teachings in the real estate industry. I was hurt, I felt defeated, and then I got mad. And when I got mad, I made a decision to prove what I wanted to teach was true. So for the next dozen or so years, I set out to learn everything I could about neuroscience, subconscious studies, quantum mechanics, biology, human consciousness, epigenetics. Words I couldn't even pronounce at one point in my life. Everything as it related to manifesting, to using the power of your thoughts and emotions, to what we know as the law of attraction. And again, when I say the law of attraction, I'm really looking at it from a much more intricate, energetic perspective than what you might see, on TV or in the movies and things like that. So I went to seminars. I mentored with people who actually were in the film The Secret. Because actually they had obviously a good command of it, right? They knew how to use this stuff. I got book endorsements from New Thought leaders, New York Times bestselling authors. I started to apply this and I learned the science behind it. So that's where it really made a difference in my life. And that's where I really catapulted myself from, where I was to where I'm still going. I became a college professor, an author, a radio host, a hypnotherapist. And I didn't want to sell houses anymore because I was so passionate about teaching. But what I did, because I wanted to prove that this worked, not just for all the things I'd done in my life, but I wanted to prove that it worked in real estate. So now I know that the only person I needed to impress was myself, but still. So I did reactivate my license because it had been on ice for a couple of years while I was working, several years while I was working at the California Association of Realtors. And as soon as I got my license, and the market crashed. 2008, boom. I have a license. I don't know anything about short sales or foreclosures. I'm getting my license reactivated so I can prove to the industry that this so-called law of attraction works. And then I'm sitting there going, are you kidding me? But regardless, I'm here to tell you that I was able to earn 2 to 3 times what the average agent earns today. And remember, that was like, over 10 years ago. Oh, wait, my math is not so great. Anyway, I only worked several hours a week, 5 to 7 hours a week. And I decided, well, I'll do short sales. And I made it my mission to help as many people as I could. I learned all about short sales. Yeah, and you can ask my escrow officer. I was nailing him. I was just on fire. And it was by applying these techniques that I'm going to show you here, which were not nearly as refined, by the way, back then as they are now. Not nearly, probably about 50% as refined. So I knew if I could make a big chunk of change every year working only 5 or 6 hours a week, that I could teach this to anyone with a license and a dream. Although my intention was only to prove my point and then to get back to teaching and writing and, my hypnotherapy practice, I have to admit that it was so much fun. I loved it. And so I went on and I built a team and I really stuck to part-time sales for a number of years. But during that time, I was still simultaneously researching, teaching real estate, writing books, and I had started coaching real estate agents. I had stopped doing my hypnotherapy practice. I stopped meeting people at an office and instead started coaching people over the phone. And back then when I first started, we didn't have Skype and Zoom and, the things that make it so easy to coach people from all over the country, or, all over the world for that matter. But it really was important to me that I finally got back to doing what I love to do full time, which ends up being coaching and, and teaching and writing still. But I know now more assuredly than ever that this stuff works because although I first learned it from a metaphysical spiritual teaching, I now have way over a decade worth of the science that proves it. And the key is you just have to know how to work it. Okay, so are you ready? Let's go to the first key. Decide. The first step is to decide. You might be surprised to learn that most people, including agents are people, don't know what they truly want in life. And yet knowing this is the foundation of getting it. I mean, you can't create what you want if you don't know what that is, right? The biggest mistake I see people make is that they want to make more money. Or in our industry, I want more clients, more closes. That is not what I call an ideal outcome. You can get excited about what you're going to do when you have all that money. That's why we have to go deeper, because really no one does what they do for the money alone. Even if they think they do, it might be the freedom they want or the power, but it's never just about numbers in your bank account, which, these days it's just numbers on your screen. The numbers don't mean anything. It's what you think that the numbers mean to you, because what that gives you, that sense of security or luxury or power or freedom, whatever it is. So the best way to determine what you really want in life is to ask yourself what you would do if you had all the money you wanted. Would you stay in real estate? Would you travel more? Would you send your kids to college? And importantly, what would you do with your spare time? I think a lot of us forget that the freedom and flexibility is why we got in this business in the first place. But to be clear, real estate may be just a vehicle to help you live out your sole purpose. A lot of people really just would love to have a lot of money and then be able to do something charitable. So I want you to think of it from that perspective. Maybe your purpose is to open a dog rescue farm or a bakery. For some of us, it's a dream we had when we were younger that we never got to live out. I, for one, when I was 10 years old, decided I wanted to be a writer like John Boy Walton. And you know what? I've written 20 books. So you can do these things that you set your mind to. Now's the time to think about it. And again, when I say real estate might just be a vehicle, you have to have something to hitch your heart to. You have to have a dream of what it would look like. Now, for some people, it may be real estate. It may be growing, especially if you haven't been in the business a long time. Maybe your ideal outcome is seeing yourself grow a big team or a franchise or breaking into the luxury market, or just simply earning more and working less with less stress so you can spend more time with your family or on fundraising or whatever. So you can build an ideal outcome around something that makes you feel good, because the whole idea with this step is to get in touch with what it would feel like to have that ideal outcome come true. Because believe it or not, your emotions have way more to do with your outcomes than any action you could possibly take. Remember what I said earlier. When you use matter to change matter, you're going to have a long, hard ride. You're going to be knocking on 100 doors to get one potential, not even a for sure, one potential lead. But if you use mind over matter, the people come to you. And you need to get out there and you need to meet people, but you do it on your terms and in your way. And that's how genuinely positive I am that this works. A lot of agents and brokers I coach with want to write books or be speakers or want to be coaches or trainers. And others want to be mega agents. So it doesn't matter what makes your heart sing as long as you find something that does. Because quite honestly, especially for what I call my recovering realtors. And I don't mean that facetiously, well, maybe a little. What I mean by that is some of us have been in the business for so long that you get kind of tough and your soul gets a little stale. And so you have to spend some time, in solitude and think about what would make my soul sing again. This business did at first. Maybe it's not now. So maybe you need to have a new dream. And that doesn't mean that you have to get out of real estate. I'm not trying to get you out of real estate. I'm trying to say real estate is a vehicle, but it may not be your purpose on the planet. There may be bigger and better things for you at the end of the road that maybe real estate's just going to get you there. And for some people, they will do real estate their whole career, but it enables them, because they have built an abundant business, it enables them to do something else, like maybe start investing in their own rentals or flip properties, or maybe go into business with one of their kids, to do something on the side. So it's just wide open, but you have to find something that gets you super excited. And then you have to decide what it will look like and what it will feel like when it happens. Okay? So decide what you want and decide what it will look and feel like once you have it. Okay, the second step is create. The second key is create. Here is where most agents, even after they've read my book, Mind Over Market, drop the ball. You've decided what you want, you know what it looks like, but in order to manifest it, you have to quit looking at the lack of it. Quantum physics proves that the entire universe, which is made of energy just like you and I are, and that this energy is controlled by consciousness. But it can't be the same consciousness that you're in during normal waking hours, because in those normal waking hours, you're observing your daily dramas and lack. And if you keep looking at that, you just keep creating it year after year. I honestly believe that was kind of what Einstein meant when he said, you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. You have to think above it. So I use a system called meta creation. And in a nutshell, it's where we slow our brain waves, relax our body and mind, and imagine whatever your ideal outcome from the first key is, with all the bells and whistles. And what I mean by that is using all 5 of your senses. Think of it as mentally rehearsing a new and improved version of yourself, where you have the life that you want to be living. You have your ideal outcome, whatever you decided that is, and you feel it with such intensity of joyful, grateful emotions that you're almost convinced when you open your eyes it's a true event. And that's the rule right there. This is so key. Recall I said consciousness creates reality, but in order to create something different, we have to connect with our higher consciousness. And you can call this the quantum field, you can call it God, the universe, infinite intelligence. I like to call it my inner advocate, but you can call it whatever you want. And this is where the real change happens. The trouble is that we're not connecting with it on a daily basis. The universe can't give you what you want unless you tell it, and I'm telling you, this practice is how you do that. So the trick is to slow your subconscious mind down and your conscious brain down, and then use imagery and emotion to tell your subconscious mind what you want. The subconscious mind, we know this now, the subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real or imagined. And so if you imagine something with emotion long enough, your subconscious mind is going to go, oh, dude, that happened. And it's going to start acting like that. And I cannot tell you what a difference that in itself will make in your life. Not to mention the fact that when you are in a relaxed state and you are using your subconscious mind in this way, it's like a gateway to the quantum field. And this is where the stuff I promised I wasn't going to talk about, photons and electrons, so I'm not. But this is where the magic happens. This is where quantum physics kicks in, and this is where you begin manifesting. But you have to teach your body and your brain that you already have what it is you want. Because once you amplify your emotions of excitement and gratitude, your body is going to experience the chemical responses that correlate with your ideal outcome. Is this making sense? You have to create your vision and feel like it's already coming true to the extent that you're actually tricking your body and brain to think this is the new reality. And things can change so fast, it will make your head spin. I cannot tell you the number of agents and brokers I've coached over the years who say, oh, these new clients came out of nowhere, or oh, this new opportunity just landed in my lap. It's because this stuff works. Okay, let's look at the third key. The third key is alignment. And again, this can be challenging for a lot of people, but in reality, those who nail down the first two keys, which is to decide and to create, they have a heck of a lot easier time doing this, because the first two it just leads to you wanting to be more in alignment. It's just like a byproduct of it. But here's the thing. You can't do the mental creating and then open your eyes and go out and get road rage or freak out when a seller's mad at you. So while the practice of meta creation alone will make an incredibly positive impact in your life and business, we still have to get out and face the world, right? And our old programming, by the way, your old programming is what gets in the way of what you want. I'm just going to put that out there. It tends to keep us stuck in the past. And when that happens, we react to every drama and obstacle that surfaces. And what do? We're just like a hamster on a wheel. We just keep going around and around. Like, okay, I'm going to get in alignment with my ideal outcome, and then something goes wrong, and now I'm out of alignment. And we just go back and forth. And what do? It's like Groundhog Day. We just keep creating over and over again the same situations over and over again. That's because we have not trained our subconscious brain to understand the life that we want to live and the person that we want to be. So in other words, if you had your ideal outcome, okay, how would you be carrying yourself right now? What would you be eating? Would you be complaining? I mean, really, if you have your dream, why would you complain? You wouldn't. You'd be focused on love and joy and gratitude. You'd be focused on being of service and thinking about what a wonderful new idea your higher self, just handed down to you. And that's the only way that you should take action. That's the only way that I coach my agents when we're building a referral-based business. I coach them to use mind over matter, and then through intuition and what feels good, they take inspired action. That's the only kind of matter to matter interactions that you should have going on. It should be inspired action, because I'm here to tell you, if you're taking forced action, you're going to scare everyone away. People pick up on your energy. It is contagious. So if you're forcing yourself to call your database, people are not going to answer the phone. People are not going to want to talk to you. It's, you're not going to get anywhere. If you're going and pounding on doors, but your heart's throbbing, going, I hate this, I hate this. Whereas if you love it, you're going to get leads all day long. So that's what's really key here, is when you're you can't be in alignment if you're doing things you hate to do. Okay? Super important. So any of your action that you take has to feel good. So being in alignment is just about feeling that you already have your ideal outcome come true. So another way to remember this third key is acting as if. Just pretend, literally act and feel like you're living in your ideal outcome this red hot second right now. Because really, this whole thing, guys, this whole thing is about becoming the person who already has the life that you want. Because if you were already being that person, you'd already have it, right? Think about that. Because everything is energy, and your main job, is to raise your vibrational frequency to the same level as the person who would have everything you desire. Does this make sense? And listen, your vibration, which scientifically we can measure now, is really nothing more or nothing less than your overall state of being. And your overall state of being is how you think, feel, and speak, focus, even your diet. If you're feeding your body with poisons all the time and heavy toxic stuff that's going to numb you out, or drinking too much, or prescriptions that aren't good for you and stuff like that, your energy is going to be vibrating low. So you've got to recognize that we are all energetic beings. Energy that surrounds us is actually where our bodies come from. It's not the opposite. It's not that our bodies put off energy. We start with energy, and then the matter is the denser. So that's exactly how this works. And I know it seems really weird and it gets really scientific-y, but trust me on this. This is what science shows us. So this energetic field around us, people pick up on our emotions, and it's that energy and that level of energy that will attract or repel clients and deals and everything else, from poor health to failed marriages. Okay? So I want to be really clear about something. In order to create an improved version of yourself, one who has all the abundance and health and whatever else you're dreaming of, it takes pure commitment. And pure commitment is what these 3 keys provide. If you're truly committed to creating a better business or improving poor health, for example, you will do these 3 steps faithfully to demonstrate your commitment, right? I mean, think about it this way. If you had a child whose life depended on you getting somewhere, you would get there come hell or high water. You would just go. You wouldn't need motivation. You wouldn't say like, oh, I really am tired today. I don't feel like getting up. You would just go and you would get it done. And that's the kind of pure commitment that makes top producers. And it's a kind of pure commitment that can help you heal your body or your relationships or whatever it is that you want to change in your life. So, you can't say you want change and hear instructions as clear as what I'm giving you here and then not do a thing about it, because you're lying to yourself and you're lying to me if you say I really am committed to making this ideal outcome come true if you can't do these 3 steps, because it's not rocket science to do this. And the rest of the world, I don't know what percentage, but the rest of the world hears this stuff, reads this stuff, gets inspired for 5 minutes, and then they go back to business as usual. You know why? Neuroscientifically, we are stuck in this pattern, this loop. And it's the same thing, and we keep creating it over and over again. And these 3 keys are how you break that pattern. It's not just quantum physics, it's also neuroscience. And you'll find yourself, if you do this habitually, you'll find yourself wanting to eat differently, wanting to work out more, feeling like going to a networking event, or feeling like, holding an open house, or whatever it is. You'll be at the right place at the right time because you're letting your higher self lead your life. But you cannot be best friends, you can't be BFFs with your higher self if you never hang out with him or her, whoever it is. You can't become that better version of yourself and get to know your higher self, which is really your connection between you and the quantum field, or you and God, or however you want to look at it. You can't be in contact with your higher self, which is where all the magic happens, if you constantly hang up on your higher self. And if you sit mired in problems every day, that's exactly what you're doing. You're like not even answering the call. You're screening your call from your higher self. Okay? I don't know any other way to put it. So I share all this with you from my heart. And if you follow me at all, or on Facebook or social media, or you've read my books, you know that I am all about inspiring and supporting. But I do know that no matter how committed we think we are, everyone needs support and guidance. So here's the deal. If these 3 primary keys were easy, we would have an industry full of top producers instead of the opposite, right? So what I've created is an 8-week immersion course that's specifically designed to take you through this process with my support and direction. It's got online learning, personal coaching calls, an exclusive forum. Even we do group intentions. Oh gosh, wait till I tell you the science and the power behind that. Because even if we think that we are in alignment, just listening to the language we use, it's so easy for someone else to say, okay, let's reframe that. Let's say that in a different way. The things that we post on social media, that affects our energy. The things that we watch on social media, the news that we watch. If we're focused on lack, we're going to create more lack. So this program is really designed to create an abundance consciousness within you, and it's one that you can keep forever, because once you get it, you will never go back. You will never want to go back, and you'll know how to flip the switch in just within seconds. Okay, so even having the accountability just to do your daily practice can be a game changer. So listen, you can do all this on your own and take years like I did, or you can work with a coach and get there way faster. And I personally always have a coach myself because we can't always see our own blind spots, right? And so this program I'm talking about, it's in its beta stage. I don't know why they give it the term beta. It should be alpha because it comes first. But anyway, it's in its beta stage, and it's way less of an investment than, you know, the commission that someone would pay on a California fixer. And the thing is it's guaranteed to improve your business and your life. And the way I stand by my guarantee, to the extent that if you don't think this program is worth 10 times what I'm asking for this one-time investment, I will graciously refund your money. But here's the catch. You have to do the work, and you have to be purely committed to become the new, improved version of yourself who has the ideal outcome you desire. And if that's you, then let me tell you about one more catch. If you resonate with what I'm saying and you'd like to learn more and see what the price is, and then you say, oh, heck yeah, I'm in, I will still ask that you fill out a brief form and set up a time to chat with me. And the reason I do this is because I'm so committed to your success that I cannot risk letting anyone in this program that isn't a good fit. I mean, seriously, if I just took payments online and then someone joined who was negative and who complained, it would ruin your experience. And ultimately that would ruin my reputation, right? So I only want to let people in who I really feel are purely committed and that will do the work, you know, and it's not as much of a time crunch as you think. Once we look at it and we look at your schedule, you know, people are like, oh, I don't know if I have time to do this practice 30 minutes a day or whatever it is. It's like, come on, you know, again, go back to the thing. If your kid was stranded somewhere, you do what you need to do to get what you want to get. So you have to ask yourself the question, how badly do I want to have this different, new, improved version of myself, this better life? How badly do I want to have it? Because I can have it so easily if I just commit to having it, you know, and you get plenty of personal attention from me in this group, sometimes more than you might want, because once this ride starts, it never really ends. I'm passionate about helping you to succeed. I'm going to post a link that sends you to a page that will give you all the information, including the price. I'm not going to put the price right now in this presentation because while it's in the beta stage, I'm doing it way lower than what I will once it's established. So it'll be different, but I will put it on the link that I'm going to share under this presentation. So let's summarize the 3 steps for you. And this is to manifest your ideal outcome. So you first have to decide what an ideal outcome is for you. What will make you over the moon happy? Then you must create that ideal outcome in the quantum field every day. And finally, you must live in alignment with the thoughts, feelings, and inspired actions that you take. This is the real secret of manifesting abundance, love, and freedom. You've got to feel it, believe it, and then you'll achieve it. And this program I'm telling you about, my Mind Over Market 8-week program, and I didn't even mention that after the 8 weeks, I don't just say bye-bye. I put you in a graduate group. So you still have a monthly call with me. You still have me in Facebook. You still have connection with me. You can still ask me questions. So I'm really nurturing this, you know, just like we teach in referral-based real estate. I'm really nurturing you to continue to grow even after the initial phase is over. And of course, during this program, I didn't even tell you, we're going to be working on building referral-based businesses. So it's not just all about the mind and emotion stuff. That's the foundation, but we've got to take inspired action too, right? So anyway, the program is designed to move you past whatever is holding you back in your past programming, your past pain, whatever keeps showing up for you. We're going to get through it. And I am committed. I am purely committed to you and your success. So thank you for listening. Again, I'll post a link below, or you can just go to tamaradorris.com and click on the Mind Over Market tab. So in parting, let me just say, it is my honor and my privilege to serve the industry for as many years, I'm going on 30, as I have. And if I resonate with you, I would love to talk to you and love to have you be one of my pioneers in this new program. Okay? I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for listening.